Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July meeting of the Wilmot Township Committee of Adjustment. I'd like to introduce the members of our committee, and we have with us this evening Ms. Louise Lalonde, Mr. Peter Rowe, and Mr. Steve Miller, and my name is Wayne Roth. Also, we have with us Mr. Andrew Martin, who is the Manager of Planning for the Township of Wilmot and is also our Secretary Treasurer. And Mr. Cameron Miller, a planner for the township, is also with us, and he will be introducing the applications this evening. I don't believe there's anyone who wishes to read the territorial acknowledgement, so I will do so. We have gathered in Wilmot Township on the traditional territory of the Neutral, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Mississauga peoples. We also want to acknowledge the importance of the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, a peace agreement made between Indigenous nations before the Europeans arrived. It characterizes our collective responsibility to each other and to Mother Earth. We should take only what we need, leave enough for others, and keep the dish clean. By acknowledging this covenant and the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, we are reminded of our important connection to this land where we live, learn, and work together as a community. We are an independent body that has been appointed by Wilmot Township Council, and we have the power to make minor changes to existing zoning regulations and to approve some existing non-conforming uses, as well as to give consents. Each applicant will be informed in writing of the decision of this committee within 10 days, and with that decision will be instructions on how it can be appealed. Any decision made by this committee can be appealed to the local planning appeal board, who will then hold a meeting and make a final and binding decision. If a decision on a minor variance or a consent is not appealed, it will become final and binding after 20 days from the date of this meeting. The format of the meeting we will follow. We will ask Mr. Miller to introduce the application. The applicant will then be invited to come forward and add any additional information if they wish to choose to do so. Following this, anyone else in the audience can have the opportunity to speak for or against the application. Committee members may then question the applicant and then discuss the application itself. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Tyler Bowman, a member of our committee, to this evening. So thank you, Tyler. And we will turn now over. Before we start, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest this evening? Seeing none. Mr. Miller, would you introduce the first application, please?
Thank you, Mr. Roth. The first application is A09/22 concerning 61 George Street in New Hamburg. So this application is proposing to increase the maximum allowable driveway width from 8.25 meters to approximately 11.45 meters. So the property is presently developed with a single detached dwelling and a garage that was recently constructed in 2021. At that time, the applicant had expressed future intentions to hard surface the area in front of the garage to allow for vehicles to access in and out, as well as parking in front of the garage. There is an existing driveway, and the applicant's proposing to retain that existing driveway, in doing so puts the combined driveway width above the maximum allowable driveway width of 8.25 meters at approximately 11.45 meters. And so without retaining this existing driveway, the proposed driveway in front of the garage would fully comply with the driveway regulations contained in the zoning bylaw. So since this deals with modifications to an existing access, the township's Public Works and Engineering Department was circulated. They indicated no concerns, but did state that it would require tapered entrance. And so again, should that application be approved tonight, then the applicant would then be required to obtain an entrance permit, whereby those modifications would be made at that time. In circulating the application, no concerns were raised, and staff are recommending that the application be approved.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Does the applicant wish to add anything to this?
If the applicant's in attendance, if you want to use the raise hand feature, if you have anything to add. And I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Okay, thank you very much. We will then proceed. Members of committee, do you have any questions or concerns regarding this application? Seeing none, I would then ask someone to bring forth the motion to approve. Moved by Ms. Lalonde, seconded by Mr. Rowe. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much. I understand that there was only the one application this evening, Mr. Miller.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. We need to approve the minutes of the last meeting. So would someone bring forth that motion? Moved by Mr. Rose, seconded by Mr. Miller. Is any discussion on that motion? If not, all in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much. Are there any applications for the August timeframe, Mr. Miller?
Yes, we are looking to target August 10th, if pending committee availability for that date. We do have at least one application, probably at least two.
Okay. August the 10th is not going to work for me.
Or for me.
I will be in Switzerland actually that day.
Nice.
So yes, we finally got our river cruise that we had booked in 2019. We're finally being able to go. So, you know,
So is it that week then is blocked off for you?
well, I'm going to be gone from the 5th of August to the 19th. So, but did you say, Mr. Miller, you can't make it either?
Yeah, the 10th isn't good for me. The 3rd would certainly be better.
The third would work for me as well.
Okay,
Can we do that?
perhaps we'll send a follow-up email with some potential dates, but we're still maybe looking at later in August.
Well,
Is there something the matter with the 3rd?
I'm
a
not
lot to get
available,
through for
but that's, I mean, it would depend on the type of application. Mr. Miller is more than capable to take care of the meeting too. So
I am
we'll
back. I should be back that day. I am also away the week.
Oh, right.
Up to that.
okay.
I get back on the 2nd. So if that is the only date, then that we could certainly potentially make that work. We can send a follow-up email sometime tomorrow, just confirming the date. But
I could do I could do the 9th or the 11th. It's the Wednesday there.
okay.
Okay, well, that might be it. We'll have to talk to.
Yeah, and then Mr. Miller, you would take over the meeting for me then at that time?
I can do that. Yeah, if someone sends me the verbiage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do those dates work for others? If we'll have to confirm with, obviously with our IT staff to help us out whether that works. But
Yeah.
from a committee standpoint, other than Mr. Roth is,
Yeah.
I will.
All the
but
dates
that's
that
okay.
work, all the dates you've mentioned work for me.
okay,
As long as
The
we're
3rd
doing it
would not
remotely, I
work
can do
for
it from
me.
anywhere.
okay.
Okay.
We'll try to
3rd would not
target,
work for me. But
All right.
question.
we'll try to
question,
target the 9th or the 11th, then I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right. Well, anyway, thanks everyone for participating this evening. Stay safe and stay healthy. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks.